here at Temple Square inside the Assembly Hall. It was finished in 1882, and it's one of the most interesting buildings on the square. Do you know why? Look at these bricks. They don't look even or regular. The building has a dark, almost rough texture with a lot of masonry between the stones. The Assembly Hall's stones came from rejected pieces that were left over from the construction of the Salt Lake Temple. The builder, a man named Henry Grow, knew that these stones would still make a beautiful building. Even though they had broken or splintered at the stone quarry, they would need just a little bit extra mortar in the joints to even them out. I was 17 years old, and I was extremely shy when I started taking university courses. I was absolutely sure I wasn't as smart or as articulate as the other kids in that classroom. I didn't have the experiences they had, and I didn't have the ability to think on my feet. There were times when the idea of walking into a class where a teacher might ask me a question was so nerve-wracking that I turned around and I actually went home. I finally decided I would have to face those fears if I was ever going to get my education. It sounds silly now, but I used to pray every morning for the confidence to just turn that classroom doorknob and walk in and sit down. Jesus Christ knows all about rejected stones. He was one. Psalms 118 says, "The stone which the builders refused is become the headstone of the corner." Jesus Christ is the cornerstone of our faith, and he's also a master builder of our abilities. He can spy a good block that isn't being used and work with its imperfect shape to make it usable. If we confess to him that we don't want to remain a broken block, he's generous with his mortar and he fills in our gaps. When the mortar dries, it doesn't really matter which part is granite and which part is masonry, because it holds us together so that we can stand up for the purpose that we are made. Just like the stones that built the Assembly Hall, I wasn't a complete block as a student. I'm still not a complete block now, but I'm better than I was. In my calling in the Relief Society Presidency and in my job at Latter-day Saint Charities, I have to speak to strangers all the time. I have to answer questions and I have to think on my feet. And it was those early experiences as a student that gave me the confidence through the Savior that I could grow in these abilities. I testify that this can be true for you as well. I want to show you one more feature of the Assembly Hall that I think is very interesting. High above every door is a window that shows a Star of David. This was a symbol that the pioneers used to show that we're dedicated to the gathering of the tribes of Israel before the second coming of Jesus Christ. It's no accident that you meet weekly in weekly gatherings. It helps to have friends to encourage you and to also share what they're thinking about. Think about the people in your gathering group. Did you know each other before you started? Are there members who will remain friends for you when BYU-Pathway is finished? The reason I had such a hard time walking into that classroom is because I didn't know anybody. Friends make a huge difference in our confidence. And BYU-Pathway is part of the great gathering that's happening in our time because it connects people from many different places around the world to education, to progress, and to the blessings of the gospel. That word gather has great significance. It was just a year ago that President Nelson talked about your role and my role in gathering Israel. He said, there's nothing of greater consequence, absolutely nothing. This gathering should mean everything to you. This is the mission for which you were sent to earth. Anytime you do anything that helps anyone on either side of the veil to take a step toward making covenants with God and receiving their essential baptismal and temple ordinances, you are helping to gather Israel. It's as simple as that. But how exactly do we gather Israel in this great mission that the prophet said should mean everything to us? It happens in the very same way that you come together in weekly gatherings. Get to know people. Listen to them talk about what's important to them. Share what's important to you. Help them with their problems. Invite them to help you. This is how we make friends. This is how we help each other. This is how all good things in our lives grow and develop. The Lord loves you. He's aware of you. He will bless you in the smallest things if you ask him for help. As many times as you get up and try again, he will be there for you. He won't ever give up on you. My prayer for you is that the Lord will bless you, little by little, to fill in the gaps and become that great building that he's designed you to be. And above every doorway of your life, may you welcome in the gathering of Israel.